It is 8 o'clock. Guess we'll give it a couple more minutes before we officially kick it off. See if there's some stragglers. First week of school, I understand.
Where we all add, if you're on the road, you add another 15 minutes to the commute. Because even if I don't drop off children, but if I have to go anywhere and leave early, like, oh, yeah, the traffic.
We're coming, Doug. We're coming to Pathways of Hope.
Right.
And now that it's the first week of school, I don't have as much to do. I have a little break because we had summer camp all summer, and that added a lot to our plates.
Good to hear from you, Kendra. I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
Yes, ma'am. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to have a little less on my plate so I can be. I hope you're doing well.
I am, thank you. Well, it is only 8:01, but it seems that we should probably get a little bit started just to be respectful of everybody's time. So Pathways to Hope this year, as Doug Beach has already put into our chat, is August 22nd and 23rd at the Tobin Center. It is free, and you do get CEUs for coming both Friday and Saturday. This year, Friday is our 10th annual Pathways to Hope, and Saturday is going to be our first annual Youth Pathways to Hope. So this is the first year that we're actually doing a full day towards youth, but it is for youth by youth, but we do have places where parents, caregivers, and professionals can also learn about youth, what's going on with youth, the topics that were picked for that day by youth. So that we're trying to make this an entire conference for youth by youth on what they're interested in hearing in. It'll be peer pressure. What crowd are you hanging with? Cyber safety, boundaries online, conversations with your youth, blended/generational families, the power of vulnerability, strengthening mental health in men, and then art for your mental health. And then most of those repeat for that's 11 o'clock. The most of them repeat for 12:15, except for the men's one will now turn to a women's mental health because we had to have that both of them at the same time. And then movement for your mental health instead of art for your mental health. And usually, right, we have to pay for our lunches on Friday. And Saturday, it's going to be open. It's social to everybody. It will be available. I believe it's like chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese was what we finally landed on. So that will be at 1:15, and then the conference is over at 2. So that's kind of a breakdown on what the youth conference itself just looks like this year. And hopefully answer little questions on whether it's just for youth, because that's been a couple of questions that have come up, or people thought that that was the case. It's not. There's still CEUs available for that day, and there hopefully will still be learning happening for caregivers and parents as well. Is there anybody that has any questions on what Saturday looks like for the Pathways to Hope?
Kristie, you want to say anything about Friday's program?
Yes, I can read over Fridays. Friday is our kind of, if you've been to Pathways before, our more typical program on it is geared towards more professionals, and parents and caregivers all can come and learn as well. That one's great when we have topics that are justice oriented and not just youth tracks anymore. I'm pulling up the information, Doug, for the actual workshops itself.
While you're doing that, let me give a few highlights, and then I'll let you jump back in with the workshops. But um, kicking off the conference, Judge Sakai is going to welcome everybody, and Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores is going to then follow that and share her story, her personal story. She's asked for several years if she could be part of the conference, and so we're delighted to invite her to talk to us. And right after that, we're going to have two people, um, Pastor Victor Rodriguez and Olga Rodriguez. Uh, he works with Texas Baptist Evangelism and Texas Baptist Conference, And he works with pastors throughout the state and San Antonio. And he's going to talk a little bit about what he sees in the community and in congregations and with pastors. And Olga, who does the education department with us, with NAMI, is going to join him because she does a lot of this work with him. And so that's going to kick off our conference. And then at noon, and this is a change, we're going to have the Alamo City Street Choir at noon this year. And everybody's going to be able to bring their lunches into the auditorium so that they can hear both Dr. Andrea Guajardo from Bexar County and Jesse Higgins from the city of San Antonio, who are going to talk about what the next 10 years looks like for community mental health and how the county and the city are really supporting those efforts. So that's a little bit about the plenary sections. Kristie, you want to talk about the morning panel on Saturday?
Yes, the morning panel on Saturday, which is our opening plenary, is going to have a set group of individuals that are influencers known around San Antonio. So there will be someone from KSAT, the news anchor, coming and kind of moderating that with them, helping facilitate that conversation. We will have Jack Swainer, which is a creative media producer, and he's a part of the UTSA athletic department. James Leha the second, the co-founder and partner of the Leha Boxing and Fitness in San Antonio, Texas, and Sarah, I don't want to butcher that, Tijerina, is that right, Doug? She's the youth coordinator for San Antonio Cultural Arts Center and has an amazing story that I'm looking forward to hearing. I actually haven't heard it myself. This is someone that's told us on our staff that has let us know that this is going to be great, a great panel of influencers and hopefully bring in the youth that we're looking for Saturday. So another ask on kind of for the individuals that are here today is just push it out as much as possible and let people know that day two is going to look different and that the topic of the next 10 years is going to include youth and young adults having a spotlight in Pathways to Hope itself. So any kind of feedback that we can get or information from that day, that attendance just being there, and it will let us know on what maybe we could do better next year. So we appreciate just any type of support in getting that information out to everybody. What workshops look like for Friday are what, if you've been before, what they typically look like on health and well-being, justice and reform. Children, youth, and families will have its own track. And then spiritual and mental health, diversity and mental health, and workplace mental health. So those are kind of the workshop topics, and each one will have its own title and descriptions for what are actually being taught that day on those tracks themselves.
One of the fun things about the conference this year is as the youth were planning this, and they did the planning, there was a request that we not start Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. So the program actually starts at 10 on Saturday morning, but at 9:15, we're going to have several activities. We're going to have a movement session, which is going to be yoga, so meditation. We're going to have a music and praise session workshop with musicians, and it's going to be a musical program. That'll be fun. And then we have a meditation time and worship time. So there are going to be 3 opportunities for people to come early at 9:15, kind of get the day going, and then get ready for the beginning of the day at 10 o'clock. I encourage everybody to come because it'll be a lot of fun.
The feel is supposed to be different. So to kind of add on what Doug is saying, the feel is supposed to be different. So we are starting later. They did put in movement breaks. We also will have a choir put together by one of our volunteers of youth across San Antonio. They don't all belong to one choir. They're just mixing their voices together for this. So it's going to be something magical, hopefully, and continue for the next 10 years. And what does that look like for the next 10 years? So that is our topic for Pathways to Hope this year, as it is our 10th annual, is what does the next 10 years look like? So having a voice and having you be there and just experiencing it with us is really important to the individuals that have help to plan it, as well as the ones that are going through crisis right now. And we do know that what's coming down, in the legislative and what's going down in Texas is having an effect on mental health as a whole. So this is a place to kind of learn a little bit more about how to support individuals, even if you don't have an experience yourself with it.
And one conference note is that today is the day that we have to turn in a head count to the Tobin Center for lunches on Friday. So if you want to have lunch there, and the conference pays for half the expense of everybody's lunch that attends. So when you register, you'll be asked for what kind of a box lunch you want. But if you plan on attending and you want to eat lunch, or you know somebody that needs to know that information, today's the day that you need to go ahead and sign up. If you don't, there will be a concession stand there where you can buy a sandwich from the Tobin. Same food. It'll just be what they have available. They should have plenty available, but so that's a little bit on signing up. So are there questions about the conference this year or comments?
Sounds wonderful as always. My question was, is there still going to be that parking available at the church across the street? I might have missed that part.
No, thank you for bringing that up. There will be parking, and we'll have a map on our website and on the Whova app. When you register, you're taken to Whova. The parking will be at St. Mark's Episcopal Church. It's at Jefferson and Pecan. There'll be one lot there, and then there'll be a lot over at First Baptist Church, a lot and a half on Friday, and 2 full lots on Saturday. So the best opportunities for free parking are to get there early on Friday. We have enough parking for about a little over half, maybe 60% of the attendees. And there is also paid parking at the Tobin Garage, but the free parking will be at the 2 church lots.
Thank you. Well, someone that has attended since you started them, I love them. I look forward to them every year, and I am always sending out invitations to people. So thank you for putting it on. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's really a community thank you, because this is how it happens, is everybody comes together. The thing that when I talk about the conference over the years, I say, the number one thing, the best thing that happens at the conference is when you're in the lobby and everybody's meeting everybody and you're seeing people that maybe you haven't seen recently. And people that come that haven't been before tell me, I get there and I realize I'm not alone. I'm not the only one dealing with maybe mental health issues or a friend or family member. It's the most important thing I think we do at the conference is bringing people together in community to support one another. And it carries me for a whole year, when I get a chance to see everybody.
I love the fact that you're highlighting the 10-year plan, because there's so many initiatives out there right now that to connect to that. And maybe Billy, if there's a written, kind of a written synopsis of that, if we can post it on Sacred somewhere and under community or under the mental health portal, so that these other programs that are working, around behavioral health can plug into that and just add more sustainability to the whole thing. So, the magic words, don't work harder, work smarter, and get into the harmonizing, just like the choir's going to do around that 10-year plan, and that we all work on it together. That is great.
Well, one of the luncheon plenary session on Friday with Jesse Higgins and Dr. Guajardo is specifically going to talk about a new way of looking at community mental health and a new model. And that's why they're going to be on stage. So we hope that They're going to be able to communicate to the public what the county is doing, what the city's doing, and reframing how we deal with mental health in our community.
And I'd like to read kind of what Kendra wrote in the chat. I think your strategy with the Youth Day is amazing. Will get you a lot of traction, will help our community tremendously, and will help mental health relevant for all generations. Bravo, Doug et al. And Doug does tend, as you saw, to be like, it's a community effort, and he's so humble. And it is. It really is. I've been, I think, fifth year now on the steering committee, but chaired day two and saw the back end that I didn't get to see previously to this year. And it's a lot of work behind the scenes that I'm glad that I've gotten a chance to share in and learn from, being that it is my fifth year attending. But it is, as he has stated, a community effort. We could not do it without our volunteers. I myself was also a volunteer, and it's beautiful how many people come together just to make this conference happen. So I agree on day of with Doug. I am more just like floating around, talking to people and getting to mingle. And I will be there at Sacred's Table off and on this year. You had a question, Peter.
Yes, thanks for the presentation, and just want to acknowledge the conference and ask a question as well. But this is my third year, and even going into the Bridges to Care program, going in to try to be a resource to help others, I found myself seeing that I needed to be transformed and address, my mental issues, and it was just so transformative, the process you go through, and then of course the resources. And you're right, Doug, the connections and the relationships that are built. Those are the resources, those relationships that we can lean back into personally or as a community. And I really love the I think you call them the movement sessions on Saturday. And I'm assuming those are, my question was that there are 3 different sessions that are happening within that 9:15 window. Is that the way it's going to
Yes.
flow?
Right.
Great. Yeah, I love that. I know last year it was, I know it was like a presentation on Shabbat, which was really like kind of like that whole piece and how you just break the day out. And it was a very good session, but I love the meditation part of the morning like that. It really sets the tone. I mean, I do that personally, so I can really appreciate that as a community doing that and really connecting and learning more about that. And the sessions themselves, I mean, I attended one last year on mindfulness that was just really, really, really good. And I gleaned so much and continue to develop that. So just wanted to say that. And I'm looking forward to the whole conference. Great work.
Let me thank you, Peter, and there are a couple other things we're doing this year that are new. One is that on the mezzanine level, the county is going to set up a place where all of the ARPA grantees for the county will have information about their programs and their resources. That's new. We have the vendor tables in the lobby. They will be offering information and resources about mental health. The other thing that we're doing is that the warm line, the Bear warm line that NAMI operates, is going to have a person available during the entire conference that people can talk to, either to talk to somebody about resources or maybe the conference is triggering them. Whatever it is, there'll be somebody there, warm line, to listen and to be present with people regarding their concerns. We'll also have a quiet space, which we did last year, so that if you just get kind of like, I need a break, I need to go sit someplace where where nobody's going to talk to me and so on, we'll have a quiet space also identified, and that'll all be in the program. But if you have questions about where things are located, we'll have volunteers, and the Tobin also has great staff that will be able to direct people.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And you can always find Doug and I day of. So if you need a little bit of assistance, and we're happy to see you in person and say hello, we will both be there Friday and Saturday. So I'm excited just to see all y'all's faces beyond a screen. I think most of everybody usually just sees me on a screen. So it'd be great to just be able to give you all hugs and say hello and talk about what you're learning at Pathways this year.
One last thing I will say is that NAMI National out of Washington, D.C. has offered stipends to NAMI affiliates around the country to put on their own Pathways to Hope conference. So in 19 other cities around the country, there will be communities who are bringing their own version of Pathways to Hope to their community. Again, as community collaboration, support for people living with mental health issues and for caregivers, and to bring in clergy and to be able to talk about the importance of spirituality in mental health. So that's going to be going on, and that's growing directly out of the work that we've done in San Antonio, that people around the country have said, wow, we want to do that in our community. So I think we as San Antonio should be kind of proud that it began here and that it's spreading throughout the country. Does anybody else have any questions? We're getting close to the end of time, or comments.
We did have a comment in the chat that is, I will definitely make a note. I already have, Kendra. And nutrition is a huge part of good mental health, along with movement. If you don't already this year, maybe Costa Nutrition or San Antonio Food Bank or HEB could table a class on mental health and nutrition. That's a really good idea, especially, I mean, I think as adults we probably need it, but I know that the youth could also use just what is healthy and not healthy with all the ingredients that are in stuff nowadays.
Great comment. We all know that nutrition is a real important part of mental health. So thank you for reminding us that. And I don't see Dwayne on. Dwayne is our co-chair this year, along with Ann Helmke, Ann is traveling. But I want to thank Dwayne and Kristie and all the people on the steering committee who meet all throughout the year. We meet monthly, beginning in September and October, and this is a year-round effort. So I want to make sure, and as you look at the website and as you attend the conference, you'll see that we've given recognition to the sponsors for the conference. So be sure and tell them, how much we appreciate their contribution and their support, because we couldn't do this without them. Any questions? Kristie, do you have anything you want to add before we close out?
Other than thank you for being here? No. Thank you for being here. And thank you for considering being there if you're considering it. And being there the day of if you do make it. And we'll be here again next year. If you don't get out of your house this year, that's fine. We are always open and available to seeing you again next year and having feedback. Yes, we need to remind ourselves that nutrition is very important. And
one last thing to point out is we will have sign language interpreters at the conference in the plenary sessions and some in the workshops. So if you know people that need sign language interpretation, encourage them to come to the conference. And also want to thank Billy and Sacred and everybody at Sacred for helping record the plenary sessions. And that's a great service to us, and we appreciate the effort, Billy.
Very welcome. Glad to do it.
I think unless somebody else has a question or a comment, I think that's probably all we've got, folks. It's 8:24, and we hope to see everybody at the conference again. If you haven't registered, please register and select the kind of lunch you're going to eat if you want to do that. And there's Dwayne.
Good morning, all.
So we're just kind of wrapping up. Do you want to say anything as we close out?
Yes, I do. Good morning, and my apologies for jumping on late, as I totally didn't have it on my calendar, even though I met the other day to go over this. So my apologies. We got a lot going on. I'm sure Doug gave you all great feedback and up-to-date information on the Pathways to Hope Conference, year number 10. As always, thank him for everything he's doing I don't know how many of you all have had an opportunity to meet Ernest, but he has stepped in and has really done yeoman work. So we appreciate both of them and everybody on the steering committee. We're in the home stretch. And one of the things that Ann and I talked about yesterday, Doug, was trying to challenge each of you all. If you have not already signed up, there should be a link in the chat that will allow you to sign up. And we want to challenge you to invite others to do so as well.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you, Doug.
And I think with that, we're done this morning, and we're going to look forward to seeing everybody. Let's see, next Thursday, Billy, do we have a Thursday morning session scheduled?
There will be at the intersection next Thursday morning. Yeah, I don't know the topic, and doesn't usually announce those until the day before.
Okay, good. Well, then we'll look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday and at the conference. So thank you.
Have a blessed weekend, San Antonio.